about these pictures? Larawan to ng mga taong bumubuo sa ating lipunan. Pero ano nga bang ibig sabihin nito?
Sa akin, nandiyan ka naman pala, kanina pa kita hinahanap.
Eh bakit pa ba ako hinahanap?
Kasi kapag kasi nag-text sa akin, baka na daw pumasok ang walang sticker sa barangay natin.
Oh.
Eh kawawa naman yung mga driver. Ang mahal-mahal na sticker, para din to.
Eh nag-consult naman ba si
Ay,
Cap?
ayun na nga hindi nga eh. Dapat sana pinaganda, mas mapaganda pa yung plano natin. Hindi yung ano-ano lang.
Ano?
Masana mo yun,
Ayan, kasi hindi mo ako pinapatapos sa monologue ko eh.
Emotional damage!
So, we can say that these are all part of what we call political dynamics. Pero teka nga, ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng political dynamics?
According to the Cambridge Dictionary, the word politics means the activities of the government, members of lawmaking organizations, or people who try to influence the way a country is governed, while the word dynamics means the forces that produce movement or change inside a group or system. So in short, political dynamics are the varying forces that shape and influence the political play in a state. It refers to the pattern of interrelationship between those elements that define how the system works and also focuses on forces at work in government and politics. It includes a wide variety of topics such as pressure interest groups, public opinion, propaganda, political movements, and political parties. We can say that politics is moving and developing, but never steady and monotonous.
So, yun pala yun. Ano naman kinalaman ni Cap sa dynamics na yan?
So, ayun nga, ikaw, ako, lahat tayo ang bumubuo sa prosesong pampolitikal sa ating bansa. Si Cap ang gumagawa ng plano, ikaw naman yung sumusunod. Pero hindi natatapos sa pagsunod yung role mo.
So, ano pala dapat?
Maging mapanuri at matalino kang mamamayan. Kung kailangan, maging chismosa ka.
So, okay. Sisi mo lang yan sa akin. Ako kaya po yung nakagwapong pismoso dito sa balat na lupa.
So, in a nutshell, we can equate political dynamics with game theory. So, yes, parang Hunger Games.
I volunteer as tribute!
But, what is game theory anyway? O teka, hindi ito laro-laro, parang relationship nyo ah.
Game theory is the logical analysis of situations of conflict and cooperation, in which an agent's success in making choices depends on the decision of others. Sounds familiar? Let's take a quick look at the interrelationship between politicians and the citizens. Politicians are individuals with the authority to legislate and represent the people, and will carry out their oversight responsibilities to guarantee that public administration is handled impartially and neutrally, while the citizens have a responsibility to participate in their government, uphold the constitution and obey the laws, voice out their opinion and thoughts about the subject matter, and work together to promote the common good. In this way, politicians work along with their citizens to arrive at a certain goal, or resolve a conflict in just and fair means. According to Bulan, game theory could be formally defined as a theory of rational decision and the study of strategy in conflict situations. Any strategic interactions involves two or more decision makers, the players, each with two or more ways of acting, the strategies, such that the outcome depends on the strategy choices of all the players. Players, the state and the citizens, strategies, this decision-making process, payoffs, the outcome, and possibilities. The game of politics gives us an oversight of how our institution and system works. With these methods, our role within the political sphere gives us a gist of the important aspects each of us have in playing the game of politics. Yes, everyone is included, including your apolitical peeps.
So, let's explore more of the different subjects it encompasses. These are the elements of political dynamics.
Citizenship and civil society, interest or pressure groups, public opinion, political movements, political parties and partisan politics, and politics in technology.
What is citizenship? What is the importance of citizenship and how it can be acquired? So tara, pag-usapan natin yan. Citizenship is a status that indicates a person that is right to dwell in the state. And the status is not allowed, deny them to try or expel them. This is legal standing may be bestowed upon personal at birth or in some areas through naturalization. Citizenship in action enables movement in the community, enabling people to have say in decisions that have been fought upon their lives.
the ability to make judgment based on the knowledge comprehension of the political, social, and economical context of their participation, capable of challenging established structures.
A person can become citizen is one of the three ways.
1. Being born on the territory of the state. 2. Being descendant from the state citizen. And 3. Being naturalization.
Each state citizen laws specify prevention of naturalizations, whether just solely or just sub-means. Did you know the origin of citizenship can be tracked around ancient Greece? It's when citizens were those who had legal rights to participate in the affairs of the state. So let's talk about what is civil society. Civil society is a diverse range of non-government and non-profit organizations that are active in public life and express the citizen interest and value of their members, or other based on ethical, cultural, and political, and scientific, religious, or charitable reasons. Organizations in civil society serve a variety of purposes. They are essential information source for both public and the government. They keep an eye on government operations and hold the administration responsible. They engage in advocacy and purpose, substitute regulations. And for the executive branch, the business community, and the other government organizations. Any thriving democracy depends critical on civil society. It provides a venue for people to connect over shared interests and objectives, as well as a way to criticize and shortcoming a system, structured, and therefore advance society.
Makibaka, huwag matakot.
Kuya Fernandez!
Makibaka, huwag matakot. Makibaka, huwag matakot. Makibaka, huwag matakot. Makibaka, huwag matakot. Makibaka, huwag
Hi there.
matakot. Makibaka,
Oh, this?
huwag matakot.
We're having a rally. Baka. Wag matakot. And these people, they're an example of interest group. Makibaka. An interest group, or also called as advocate group, is an organized association that shares a common interest in a specific subject and works jointly to influence public policy in its favor. Interest groups are also called pressure groups because they exert pressure to policymakers to control public policy.
Interest groups differ from political parties in the following way. Number 1, they seek to exert outside influence rather than to win or exercise government power. Number 2, they typically have a narrow issue focus in that, and they are usually concerned with a specific cause or the interest of a particular group. And lastly, they seldom have the broader programmatic or ideological features generally associated with political parties. Interest groups are distinguished from social movements by the greater degree of formal organization. There are 3 types of interest groups. There are communal groups, institutional groups, and associational groups. Communal groups, membership is based on birth, shared heritage, and ancestors. In comparison, institutional groups are part of the government. Therefore, they have no autonomy or independence. Lastly, associational groups are formed by people who come together to pursue shared but limited goals. Groups as associations are characterized by voluntary action and the existence of common interests, aspirations, or attitudes. Interest groups have different functions. They show it through representation, participation in policy debates, communicating with and educating members and the general public, contacting legislators and members of the executive branch and meeting with political candidates, and paying attention to pending legislation, executive branch activity, and legal cases.
Importantly, not everyone who benefits from interest group will join the group. A free rider is someone who benefits from the action of others without actually contributing or paying for membership.
Dali na natin ko dun. Huwag ka nga dyan.
Punta rin naman kayo dun.
The future of interest groups. Interest group will be a part of the political process as long as humans engage in politics. In the future, we might see much broad government activities, increasing international interest group activities due to globalization, and specific governmental structures will almost always work to give each country's interest group activity many unique elements.
We are constantly asked for our opinion. Sino ang mananalo sa basketball? Sino ang mananalong best in gown sa red carpet? At sino ang mananalo na bagong pangulo? Public opinion are everywhere. When we encounter the word opinion, the words judgment or views spring to our minds. Today's society places a significant emphasis on individual opinion. One of the key components of political dynamics is public opinion. So tara, samahan niyo ako. Let's learn about public opinion. Public opinion is the total of the individual's opinion, attitudes, beliefs that a significant portion of community express regarding any given issue. As you can see, public opinion can be found on any issue, not just politics. Now that you are knowledgeable about public opinion let us discuss its importance.
Did you know ba, public opinion serve as the foundation of democracy?
Oh, okay. O talaga? Did you know ba si Marcos nagpagawa niya?
Ha? CBM ka?
Oo, kita mo naman, di ba?
Sorry, Lenny ako eh.
Sorry, di tayo mag-work eh.
Anyways, bakit nga ba nasabi na ang public opinion ay basis ng democracy? According to American lawyer Robert Shapiro, electoral accountability is tied to public opinion and policy making, which means that the elected official will not vary far from voters' opinion. Now you know.
Besides of that, the major source of law is public opinion. Why? Because the government, which exercises and makes the law, can turn the people's political viewpoint into a law that helps them when they aggregate their opinions about something essential, like a policy or a rule. Now that you are aware of the significance of public opinion to our system, let's discuss about public opinion polls. Public opinion polls is a survey that sample a cross-section of the community in an effort to predict election outcomes or measure popular sentiment towards certain issues. And pollsters, who are those who analyze opinion polls, are the ones who conduct this public opinion survey. The Social Weather Station, or SWS, Pulse Asia Research Inc., and Okta Research Philippines are few examples of this. As I previously mentioned, there are many organizations or companies who operate as pollsters and evaluate the polls. And this has been the case in previous years in our nation. But have you ever wondered how polls about public opinion affect our election? The benefit of opinion polls. Number 1, polls assist voters in learning more about each candidate. Number 2, voters can learn which issues candidates support via polls. Number 3, the top candidates are identified through polls. And number 4, the candidates who should win the election are explained via polls. Along with its positive effects on us, it can also have negative effects on us in some cases. Number 1, the outcomes can negatively affect other people. Number 2, sometimes the outcomes are not reliable. Number 3, only a random reflection of opinions can be found in some polls. Number 4, by giving a fake answers, someone can attempt to manipulate the findings of an opinion polls. Public opinion are the fruit of democracy. Living here in the Philippines, where people have the right and freedom to speak, in a modern culture, public opinion has many disadvantages and advantages. Remember, your vote is your voice.
Have you ever heard of political or social movements? Oops, hindi yan yon.
Bong Revilla po, number 16 sa balota.
At lalong hindi yan yon. Tama ka, ito nga ang tinutukoy kong political or social movements.
So now, let me enlighten you more about political or social movement.
A political or social movement is a collective body in which there is a high level of commitment and political activism that is not necessarily based on a formal organization. It is a continuous and systematic effort to work together to bring about what is considered beneficial social interchange or to resist or reverse what is considered harmful social change.
Bakit ka ba lakad ng lakad?
Kaya nga political movement, di ba? Thus, as a movement, it has crucial elements according to Wendell Cade. So first is the goal, second is the ideology, third is the collective synthesis, fourth is the organization and status system, and fifth is the methodology.
So now, let me give you an example of one of the most prominent political movement in the Philippine history, which is the EDSA People Power Movement. The 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution gathered millions of Filipinos from all walks of life to march along Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, or also known as EDSA, the main artery of Metro Manila, to end the dictatorship of President Ferdinand E. Marcos and begin a new era marked by true freedom and democracy. The spirit of the movement was not confined to Manila. It manifested through non-violent demonstrations staged in different cities nationwide. It was a revolution marked by its peaceful means, led by a nation united to reclaim liberty. The events of February 25, 1986 changed the direction of the history of our country and demonstrated to the rest of the world the extraordinary tenacity of the Filipino people. Thus, we continuously commemorate this historic occasion over the years by paying tribute to the sacrifices made by everyone who opposed the dictatorship. So, to sum it up, a political or social movement is a collective's attempt by a group of people to change government policy or social values. And take note, a movement is different from spontaneous mass action such as an uprising or rebellion, in that it implies a level of intended and planned action in pursuit of a recognized social goal.
Furthermore, we should not be confused regarding the concepts of political movements and political parties, because even though they are related to each other, they are not the same. Let us always remember that political parties focuses on multitude of issues, while political movements focus only on one issue. So that's all for political movements. Thank you for listening.
Ano ang pumapasok sa isip mo kapag naririnig mo ang political parties? Do you picture a party na politicians lang ang dumadalo? Kung ito ang naiisip mo, don't worry. I will enlighten you more about this topic.
Political parties are clusters of people who share a common political perspective and idea. It is also known as a group of persons organized to acquire and exercise power. Now, what are the green flags of political parties? First, political information is presented to the population. Second, it encourages political participation. And third, it binds people together.
Umaga pa lang, nagsimula ng bumuhos ang mga makikiisa sa tinawag na pasiglaban ng mga supporters ni na Presidential Candidate VP Leni Robredo at Vice Presidential Candidate Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Kanya-kanya ng bitbit na placard, bandila, pailaw at kung ano-ano pang paraphernalia.
The red flags or the cons of political parties are the following. First, it creates factionalism. Second, it can ruin individuality. And third, it may encourage corruption.
Partisan politics. What is partisan politics? A partisan politics is a committed member of a political party and starts at Federal Constitution 1787. A partisan is a supporter of a person, group, party, or cause. Especially a person who shows a bias towards a particular person or a group. Papasok din dito ang partisan political is activity directed towards the success of or a failure of a partisan political group during campaign period. Example, giving gifts or rewards to the other people who vote for your candidate. Spreading false statements or informations to the other candidates to not vote the particular group or a person.
Sino-sino nga ba ang hindi dapat makitang nakikipagkaisa sa partisan political activities? Una, ang mga nasa civil service and all branches, subdivision, instrumentalities, and agencies of the government, government-owned or controlled corporation and state universities and colleges, career officers holding political offices, an acting or officer in charge, at ang huli, uniform and active members of the armed forces of the Philippines and Philippine National Police. Maging ang mga employee na naka-leave of absence ay still covered by this prohibition. Mayroon ding mga aktibidad o mga gawain na hindi dapat makita sa mga nasabing empleyado. Una, ang forming organizations, associations, clubs, committees, or other groups of persons, making speeches, announcements, or commentaries or holding interviews na nag-a-against sa isang kandidato. Directly or indirectly soliciting votes, maging sa simpleng pagsusuot ng mga damit na naglalarawan sa kandidatong ito at pagbibigay ng mga bagay o suhol sa ibang tao para tangkilikin ang kandidatong ito o grupong partidong tinatangkilik mo. Civil Service Commission clarified that civil servants are not barred from casting their votes unless these are resorted as a means to solicit support for or against a candidate or a party during the campaign period. Wala namang masama kung piliin mo yung gusto mo eh. Kung dyan ka masaya, sino ba naman ako para turuan at tikdahan ka? Joke lang. Basta lagi mo lang tatandaan na piliin mo yung taong tingin mong makakatulong sa'yo maging sa ating komunidad at siyang karapat-dapat para sa ating bansa. Kung may nakita tayo o makikita tayong tao o empleyado na nabanggit kanina na hindi dapat makita sa pakikipagkaisa sa partisan political activity, saan nga ba natin sila pwedeng i-report? Unang-una sa Civil Service Commission, pangalawa sa Office of the Ombudsman at sa panghuli, Head of the Agency. Kung may i-report ka man, wag lang dapat puro sumbong. Dapat alam mo kung ano yung pinaparatang mo. Tingnan mo, para mga babae lang yan eh. Tingnan mo yung mga cellphone yan. Puro screenshot. Ano ba ang naghihintay na penalty sa makikita na nakikipagkaisa sa partisan political activity? Unang-una, first offense, 1 month and 1 day to 6 months suspension. At ang pangalawa, dismissal from the service. Ito ay galing sa 2017 Rules on Administrative Cases in the Civil Service Commission. Kung ayaw mong matanggal sa trabaho mo, dapat hindi ka makitang nakikipagkaisa sa partisan political activity, kundi maging matalino at tiyakin na hindi ipagbibili ang boto.
Politics and information technology. Do you know the connection between the two? If not, let me tell you.
Since the first personal computer started to become widely used in the late 1970s, there has been a quiet revolution in how societies, businesses, governments, and other institutions function.
With the growth of the internet, more activities are being conducted online. Politics is no exception. Political parties, other groups, and individuals are increasingly using the internet to spread their messages. Minsan pa nga, fake news.
As we can see, technology plays an influential role in shaping the political landscape. In many ways, technology influences politics because it is a tool for political actors on the campaign trail, considering it a divisive political topic and a possible landmine that can take political aspirations. And also, they can use these various social media platforms to capture young voters' interests.
As we all know, there's no political viability these days without a carefully managed online presence, and sophisticated ways of leveraging technology continue to transform the political landscape in complicated ways.
Social networks, for instance, serve as echo chambers that frequently amplify political hostility, but they also enable deeper and wider connection with people.
The impact that the media have on democracy is one of the most widely debated aspects of the relationship between the media and politics.
For many, the existence of a free press is one of the key features of democratic governance. The media has traditionally been said to promote democracy in two key ways. First, by fostering public debate and political engagement. Second, by acting as a public watchdog to check abuses of power.
The watchdog role of the media is, in a sense, a subset of the political debate argument. The role of the media, from this perspective, is to ensure the public accountability takes place by scrutinizing or inspecting the activities of government and exposing abuses of power. O diba, talo pa mga madness niyong kapitbahay.
Maliban sa kapitbahay nyo, WikiLeaks is also one of the examples of a public watchdog. WikiLeaks is an international non-profit organization that publishes news leaks and classified media provided by anonymous sources. Its website stated that in 2015, it had released 10 million online documents since beginning in 2006 in Iceland. Since January 2007, its key spokesperson has been Julian Assange, an Australian editor and internet activist often described as the founder of WikiLeaks. The main purpose of WikiLeaks is to publish and comment on leaked documents alleging government and corporate misconduct, with documents and other materials being submitted anonymously through an electronic Dropbox.
Let's talk about new media and the rise of e-politics.
The revolution in communication technologies, brought about since the 1990s, especially by the spread of satellite and cable televisions, mobile phones, the internet and digital technologies generally has transformed the media and society, helping to create what has been called an information technology or a network society. This is also a process that has occurred with remarkably rapidity.
New media can be seen to have changed or be changing politics in at least three key ways. In the first place, electronic mechanisms have altered the conduct of elections.
This is particularly apparent in the case of election campaigns, which increasingly revolve around internet-based activities. Websites, emails, and podcasts provide political candidates and parties with a fast and cheap means of getting their message across to a potentially large audience, in the process allowing them also to recruit campaign volunteers and raise campaign funds.
E-campaigning has the advantage that it is particularly effective in reaching younger people who are often the most difficult section of the population to engage through conventional strategies.
Here are some examples of e-democracy. First, online voting or e-voting in elections or referendums. Second, online petitions or e-petitions organized by governments or other bodies. The use of ICT to publicize, organize, lobby, or fundraise for e-campaigning. Accessing political information, news, and comments by websites, blogs, or weblogs, and so on. The use of interactive television or social networking sites or social media to allow citizens to engage in political debate and possibly policy making. The use of mobile phones and social media to organize popular protests and demonstrations. Now, we know that what is the connection between information technology and politics, and how some political individuals or groups use technology for their own purposes.
Well, we know that governments of whatever complexion have always had an unreliable relationship with truth. Other politicians are concerned primarily with winning and retaining power, and are thus ever sensitive to the need to maintain public support. The desire to accentuate the positive and conceal the negative is therefore irresistible. That is why, as citizens of a country who are probably the ones who will be affected by an inappropriate governance that might happen or already happening, we should always be wise and not easily trust what we see or hear, especially on social media. We should always seek for the truth and nothing but the truth.
Grabe pala epekto ng political dynamics sa atin. Ngayon gets ko na. Gets ko na kung bakit hindi lang dapat natin hinahayaan mga nasa posisyon ng desisyon para sa atin. At maging tahimik lamang sa mga isyong pampolitikal, lalo na tayo direktang naapektuhan nito.
Oo naman, talaga kung wala ang mga bagay nito sa ating lipunan, parang maniga at puppet lang tayo. Walang kapangyarihan at sunod-sunuran. Ika nga nila, di ba? Nasa mamayan ang kapangyarihan.